Kayo po ay nakikinig sa Radyo Migrante sa CHOY 105.5 FM tuwing linggo mula alas 9 hanggang alas 10 ng gabi para sa mga balita at impormasyong mahalaga para sa bawat Pilipino. So in your introduction, you are the head of the Special Office for the Protection of Children.
MDF of the National Democratic Front.
There you go. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about this?
Well, actually, the Special Office of the set up by the National Democratic Front of the Philippines is very new. It was just set up last October, actually, last year. And the last July, the NDF, the National Democratic Front of the Philippines, issued a very important document. The document on the NDF declaration and the program of action for the rights and protection of children. Because children, the majority of the Philippine population are young people, and children, even at a young age, already suffer the exploitation and oppression of the system. Many children have to work even while they're very small to help the family in the farms, working on the land. There's also such a thing as child labor. But there's even something more, and that is the New People's Army has been accused of having child soldiers, which we in the National Democratic Front have denied that over and over again. There are very strict rules for any person to join the New People's Army. They have to be 18 years old, not younger than that. And a person is a child until 18. In other words, no child can join the New People's Army until he or she no longer is a child, until he or she is 18 years and above. And this is very important for us because this is part of the propaganda that the Philippine government uses against the National Democratic Front, that there are child soldiers among the NPA. And a study undertaken by the Ibon Foundation upon the request of UNICEF, the teams of researchers went to the guerrilla zones to investigate and came up with a document that said there are no child soldiers. And yet, the Secretary General of the United Nations, in his annual report for several years, has stated that there are child soldiers. And we have been trying to prove that there are none, to try to show all the evidences that there are none. And this is a continuing work that we are doing. And so what we say is, we have to show our concern for children, because the concern to protect and develop children to live full, normal lives and fulfilling lives, that is one of the duties of the NDF. So,
right now, what is the general situation of children in the Philippines at this point?
Oh, there are a lot of child labor, and there's a lot of abuse for children. And the special office is to try to document the violations done to children, especially in the countryside, especially there have been many cases, for example, when a young child is killed, caught in the crossfire, or killed by soldiers. And then there was one case when they put an Armalite next to the child. The Armalite was even taller than the child and said that it was a child soldier. So what the special office has made a call to all its NDF forces in the Philippines, saying, let us know if there are abuses on children that you know of. And what we plan to do is every year to issue a report on the situation of children. And of course, we've just started. Our office was set up last October, and we are a 5-member we are 5 people in the special office, which, by the way, is composed of all women, which we are very proud of. And we're still asking the units to send us reports. So we still have to issue the first report, where we would like to give the overall picture of the situation of children in general and the abuses that they are suffering.
This actually rings true. A few years ago, I worked with the Children's Rehabilitation Center in Manila.
Okay.
And as you know, as you probably know, they work with children that are affected by military violence. And yeah, they would draw these horrible pictures of what the military did to them and their communities in the countryside.
Yes.
And
yes.
so I saw firsthand the ramifications of what happened there. And also with the topic of I also did work with them under the topic of child labor. And one thing that was unique to me about the work that they did was that they were talking about how child labor is not as simple as don't let children work, don't make children work, because in the Philippines the poverty level is so high that oftentimes the children have to help their parents in order to help the family get by.
Yes.
Any thoughts to add to that? Because it's very different again from the Western concept of child labor, which is simple, don't do it.
Yes. The thing is, that's right. That's why I see children working in the land. For the people who work for landlords or agricultural workers, you know, in order to earn a bigger amount of money, salary every day, they have the children help them in the farm, you know, or till the land, doing the weeding at very young ages, and oftentimes the children cannot go to school. They're the same thing with, you know, there are so many factories where it's child labor that allows the capitalists to make loads of profit. So, and then also, of course, part of the effect of, you know, when there are militarized areas and the families have to, there are what they call the internal refugees or the displaced person. The children are the ones who suffer. And then they are also, they have to leave the home with their parents have to leave the home. The insecurity, they are prone to illnesses, they suffer malnutrition. This is not a normal life for any child. And it's true, like, you know, there are children who have witnessed the soldiers killing their parents, and seeing their parents tortured. Or we have followed cases of a particular boy who was brought into the camp and became like a running errand boy of the soldiers. And then the soldiers said, no, he's not being detained. But his brothers were trying to go to this boy and try to get him to come home. And the soldiers would not until the NDF intervened. And the boy was then allowed to join, to go to his siblings. Because actually, that boy was put in the camp because the soldiers had killed his parents. So you have a lot of these stories, you know. And the NDF has begun this new office with the call to all its forces to give particular attention to the situation of children.
So, Mithi Esguerra has a question. She said, under the optional protocol to the Convention on the Rights of the Child on the involvement of children in armed conflict, which was adopted and signed in 2002, national armed forces can accept volunteers into their armed forces below the age of 18, which shows a double standard in the UN's stand on child soldiers. Do we see this happening in the Philippines, and how is this affecting the children involved?
I don't know when this is volunteering, but for example, in the Philippines, you can have military training, or what they used to call the ROTC. I think they have a different name, where, you know, high school students are given military training, and that's all right when it's the state doing it, but if the New People's Army starts training children below the age of 18, then it's not right. With the New People's Army and with the NDF, say children have the right to protect their homes in case of danger, in any way possible. So they are given training. They can be given training to protect their homes, to protect their living areas in case of danger. And this would be in the countryside when soldiers will come and come in and raid their places. They have the right to protect themselves, their homes, their other siblings, and their community.
Radio Migrante every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on CHRY 105.5 FM.